So, I'm here because I registered for the event thinking it will be relevant to be here. I want to also talk about DAOs. And there was this part of registration form saying, do you want to speak? And I wasn't really keen on that, but then I said, if you need me, that's what I can do. Before, I used to help events by giving funding or finding speakers. Well, I don't have budget to sponsor events. I would love to. So thanks so much, everyone who did. And I'm here to share my story and hopefully it's useful for someone. So yeah, my talk is called Stories from Maker. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the progressive decentralization we had and also the lessons I learned from working for DAO. It hasn't been long, so, there's not much. This is me on the first day when I got hired by Maker Foundation to do community building for Europe. So that's the first day post. It's also on Reddit of MakerDAO. I started in marketing. Then I had some fun, interesting things, and I just wanted to share this one because I would never expect that I shake hands with the Crown Prince of Denmark and we explain him what MakerDAO is. So interesting situations like this. That was Tech Barbecue in Copenhagen. Then I did some stuff that I was really proud of and we got shout out for. At CES, we were teaching people about DeFi. We were the only digital money in the digital money section. So it was really fun. This is the marketing team of Maker Foundation that I was part of. And I started in August 18. But it took until November 19 that I met my team for the first time. So this was a very special moment. You can see people from all over the world, and that's kind of the difficult part, right? And this is my new team. You might recognize some of them here. And so this is kind of my story. I come from Slovakia. I have background in marketing, communications. I do zero developer stuff. I like nerds and I like cultural things, and I'm going to speak about the people side of things. So slides are very non-technical. This is the latest thing, Maker Mafia. It makes me very happy. I'm also part of it. Everyone who was part of the journey and either started something else is part of it. And I like to give rose for kind of like saying thanks to everyone who contributed and who's building something awesome. So please think of the guns as a friendly thing. The bullets are die. They don't kill. They just hopefully do something good. And I think I should talk about that progressive decentralization part. So Rune, I learned from someone talking at the ECC after party. I don't know, it was on Tuesday. That there's an interesting post from Rune that I didn't actually know about. And it was talking about that MakerDAO went the full circle. So you can think of 3 stages we had at Maker. First was the pre-foundation part, when it actually was DAO, when people proposed that I did this work and I think it's worth this much MKR, so it's very early days. Then we formed the foundation because we realized we need to bootstrap the ecosystem and we need to help build a strong project that we can hand over to community. And now we're actually in the third part where we have MakerDAO because the foundation is dissolving. There's only skeleton crew left. And out of this, we have Maker Mafia people and people from community either forming core units, which basically means teams in our language, or spin-offs. So think of it as startups that are for profit, but still part of the ecosystem. So this is like the full circle we went. If you want to read the blog post from Rune, it was issued on blog.makerdao.com on the 20th. So I recommend you that. It was very emotional as well to read. And then I'm going to talk a little bit. So this is the old logo when I started, right? This is how Maker logo looked. And this is the logo of the core unit I'm part of. So I'll speak a little bit about that. Sustainable Ecosystem Core Unit, scaling. And we are a team of 9 people. We have incubation programs, so we have several teams of core units that we incubate. And then we also have grantees that help us on the projects that we don't have resources to do internally. We are paid by the protocol, that's the difference, not by the foundation anymore. And our boss is the governance community. So if they don't like the work we do, they're not going to pay us. So we have to do our best. Our mandate, which is the reason why we actually got the money and got started on this work, is to grow MakerDAO's modes. And all our work is surrounding three areas. It's decentralized workforce, decentralized work, and decentralized capital. So why are we doing this? How do we scale? How do we do it sustainably? We look at these domains and we try to remove the bottlenecks. We try to make it easier for people to go through this process. And that actually brings me to the project X-Ray, which is relevant for this talk because this talk was supposed to be about talent mining and not my life story, right? So Project X-Ray is looking at decentralized workforce, but also in the context of decentralized capital and work, because we're looking at how can we onboard talent in the best way, how can we have best standards and best practices, and how can we actually keep those people around? How can we make sure that people who have a certain skills can apply them to the fullest and get paid for it, and it's not really, really difficult for them? So in Project X-Ray that I'm leading now, we have an amazing team. So I'm not going to go into that, but we're still looking for one member. So if you're a data analyst and want to crunch some numbers and help us build data-driven dashboards, please stand out. It's difficult to hire, I know. And what else to say about X-Ray? We basically do something for our customer who is MakerDAO, but anything we do is going to be public as an outcome. And as an outcome, I also think that it's going to be relevant for any other project that wants to become a DAO that has issues hiring people. And it also will be helpful for people who are considering joining this space and trying to figure out if DAO is work for them. So I really love this spillover from this project that I'm working on. And it's completely different than doing events. And I do a lot of research and I hear a lot of stories, and it's amazing to share them with you here. Okay. This is one of my favorite posts, and that is, I just realized that working for the DAO is not for everyone. And it's important truth, and it's hard truth, and we need to be aware of it. But I added also that if you love it, you can't get enough. Like the first morning that I officially started working, this is where I get emotional. The first morning when I actually started officially working, so on the June 14th, I had the last day at the foundation, and on the June 15th, I started working in the core unit officially. And I just woke up and I was really happy, and that's awesome. But as I said, I'm also hiring people. So I also need to go through this, and I have a lot of realization. And what you see here, sorry, it's a lot of font, but it's very small letters. This is the slide we use in introduction in the first call when we have interviews with potential teammates for our core unit. We go over the parts, why is it awesome to work for the DAO? But we also mention it might not be for everyone, and you need to be aware of this. Before we actually push people through, I have 10 minutes left, perfect. So before we push people through the funnel, we really want to make sure that the expectations are aligned, because you're going to waste a lot of time with people who might be amazing and might be having the best credit and the best skills and best experience. But if that one part is missing, you might really burn yourself and lose a lot of time. So you really need to focus on this one when you're trying to hire for DAO. And a couple of the things, as we like to sell this kind of job at Maker, and I really hope that it's relevant for everyone, hopefully most of the parts apply, is that we are talking about a role that has a lot of freedom and a lot of agency that you get to control and steer yourself. That's on the top for a reason. And then we also talk about all this mission-driven, cyberpunk, sci-fi, open source, and decentralization values. So if these things are something that kind of makes you excited, makes you think, makes you fired up, then this is exactly what should be whispering to you and not letting you sleep at night. And you come back again to that whatever opportunity you have and you reconsider. Yeah. we like to use these fancy expressions because we want to steal people who are ambitious. So we say that you're on the bleeding edge of innovation, you're on the forefront of, like all that cool stuff, because we are creating it together. So it's not like, here's your box, these are your tasks. If something goes beyond your level of competence, you don't worry. It's none of that. I think that we have managed to get quite a lot of monies into the ecosystem. So we have some insane tweets like hiring devs for this or that protocol with crazy amounts, several zeros. And we also get like rewards for referrals and stuff like that. So you can actually get amazing salary in some cases, but in some cases you don't. I'll talk about it later if I don't forget. And skin in the game. If you work on a project, you really need to feel like you're part of it and you're co-creating and shaping it. So in our case, we really want people to feel like, okay, they get paid, but they also should feel like what they work on is also their baby. They don't have to be whales, but they have to feel like they are part of this, and their decisions, they're like connected in that circle, right? They're also part of the community they work for. And for me, it was really important at the beginning when I joined the foundation. I said, look, I don't know how, I don't care how much. I just want to have at least one MKR every month, because for me, it means a lot. And we do the same thing with SCS Core Unit, and we try to do some standards so other people can follow it as well if they choose so, because we cannot tell other teams what to do. So we really hope that people will stay longer, stay around. We try to vest it for 3 years, so we really hope that the talent won't drain. And of course, working for DAO is creative work. It's intellectually challenging. It's not the box and the role and shut up if it's not your area kind of thing. So that's definitely that. And no one who enters crypto is born expert in all areas. So every single one of us that enters this space has gaps in something. And what is the better way to learn something than actually by doing? So you get to learn a lot of things. I didn't know a lot of things about, I don't know, economics and game theory and whatever, and I'm still learning a lot. So it's really like a good pull-in factor for you. If you find something interesting in this space, you get to learn that, or you get to improve that, or you get to meet people you're going to learn from, right? And they're the buts. So it's not a typical job. Like, I call myself a member of a permanent team, and we get budget approved for 3 months. And I have some sort of contract, but no one can guarantee that in a year I'll have this job. So you have to kind of deal with it in other ways. So it's not as safe and secure as typical employment with an entity that is a bit more established. Also, less job security that goes with it. Like, there's a lot of things you need to take care of yourself or figure out. 5 minutes, okay. And we're experimenting. We are trying to find solutions. In our case as well, we're dog fooding a lot. We're trying to figure out, so if we get DAI from the foundation, how do we connect that so we pay the workers? How do they fit into the environment where they live in? Do we use like third-party providers? What kind of setup we do? So we do a lot of things. We experiment while we try to figure them out. Yes, it requires a lot of dedication. So if you are already busy with a lot of things, you might need to cut down on those or actually make room for it. So those are the why and why nots. And this is my almost last slide. So I tried to put out together some ideas, and I'm going to talk about them, but I need to look at them. Okay, so do's. Please be humble and welcoming. Make this space open for others who are curious and interested to join. If we act cliquey and are toxic and are value signaling, we're not going to get far. So I appreciate every single one of you who is behaving that way, and I really encourage that, and I love that this community is like that. Entire week was amazing. I loved it. If you have imposter syndrome, scratch that off the list. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not going to help you. A lot of things you do here, you help co-create, so you should not think that the environment or other people or conditions made everything perfect and that's how you achieved your things. You can trust yourself a bit more than that. Soul searching. I went through that process myself. Mariano doxed me. I told him. It was difficult for me. I knew that foundation is finishing, and I kind of expected that at some point it will happen, and then it happened faster than I thought, and then I was a bit like paralyzed and kind of like, it wasn't fun. But I came out stronger out of this. I had to really look at things that were really, really hard, and I wasn't addressing it. They were just like in the background, and I really needed to think at, who am I? What are my values? What do I care for? Do I really want to stay in this space? Am I willing to take this kind of responsibility? How do I see my future? What kind of impact I want to do? And then, look, I was marketing events. Now I'm doing project lead, so I actually had to reconfigure myself so I don't force that, hey, I'm from foundation, now you have to hire me on the DAO side. Not at all. I had to figure out how can I best contribute and find the project I felt most passionate about. I really had a paper with 3 columns looking at the other options, and I had to scratch them off not to be like crazy. So please do that. If you're making this decision or something that you find difficult, take that time, do it. Please don't take your differences from others as minus, they're plus. We need diversity, we need different ways of thinking and opinions. So please put it as your strength. That's how I got my first job anyway. I came there and I said, I don't have the technical background you have, but I have this background and that's why you need me. And that's how I got hired. So use it to your advantage. You need to take initiative. Sometimes you're just waiting for jobs to be created, and especially in DAO environment, they're not. And also, the roles and responsibilities are not really set in stone. And actually, even cooler approach we had is that you should not define it. You should figure out what fits best, and you can shape it as you go. So, try to take initiatives and see where you can be helpful and see how it goes, and then figure out what you want to do. Oh my God, I'm out of time. You need to embrace uncertainty. This is with the soul searching as well. In the worst case, if this happens, can I make it? Am I okay with it? That's going to help your decision if you're looking for that job. When I interview people, I always ask why blockchain. Because if they say, I want 9-to-5 job and paycheck every month, I'm discarding them right away. They're not DAO material and they're not going to make it. And if they give me a good why, then I'm more interested and I am willing to give more chances to people who don't have the level they need, but they're willing to learn it. And when you go through hard time in the DAO job, please remember, why are you doing this? It will push you much stronger through the hard times. 2 more things you need, in my opinion, if you're forming DAO or DAO team. You need to have a strong culture. You really, really, really need to focus on your culture. If you don't feed the culture, it's going to be very difficult. You're doing remote work and it can go all crazy. And in connection to that, you need to have team rituals and you need to do offsite. So I have, in our case, we did daily stand-ups, we did weekly tacticals, and we did monthly strategic. And every quarter, we will try to have a team offsite, because being able to meet your teammates at least 4 times a year makes a lot of strategic planning, thinking, collaboration much easier. So yeah, please, at least remember this part. I'm out of time, right? Okay. So this is my last slide. I don't have time for Q&A, but I'll be here and I'll be drinking some water and happy to talk to you. I'm also on Twitter and Telegram. Yes, and this is my email. This is our work in progress Notion page. And I'm doing a research, and I'm looking for people who are willing to help me out, share their stories, and fill out the survey or something. So if you're up for it, just write me. I'll do your survey, or I'll be happy to talk for X-Ray. I would really appreciate it, and I'm sure that people after me will appreciate it as well, because I really want to produce something that helps others to get through what I went through, or what you went through, or what we are going through. So that's it. Thank you.